Students, how's it going? It's Pete Posner here at Big Break English, your British English teacher. And in today's lesson, we're going to look at IELTS Speaking Part 2, making complex structures, reporting questions, okay? So as I said to you before, now we've done a few lessons now on reported speech. Reported speech is a complex structure, and you need to use a variety of complex structures to get at least a 7 in grammar, range and accuracy. Okay, this is both for speaking and for writing. And if you also need help with your writing, then you can download my free ebook in the description of this video. 12 tips for scoring higher on IELTS writing task 2. Okay, students, here is a task. Talk about a friend. Talk for 1 to 2 minutes and consider the following questions in your answer. Who is he or she? How did you meet? Why did you get on well? And what do you usually do together? Okay, I'm going to answer this question. So let's time it. Okay, 2 minutes. All right, are you ready? Starting. And can you please answer the questions for me? So listen for my answers to these 4 questions. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my friend Pedro. Okay, we met Pedro with my wife in Salisbury in around 2011. Okay, he was a waiter in a Spanish tapas bar. It was not really very Spanish, to be honest. It was like a kind of poor English imitation of a Spanish tapas bar. But anyway, we ordered some beer, and I said to myself, this guy, I'm sure he's Spanish. So I asked him, I asked him where he was from, and he told me he was Spanish from Alicante. And because I spent some time living in Spain, we got into a conversation, and then later, just by chance, we met him in another pub just across the road from that one, and he asked us if we would like to go to a party at his place. So we did, and we really got on very well with this guy because he's very open-minded. He has a lot of friends from different countries, different nationalities, different cultures, and so we really like that type of person. And in general, also he's just a very good person. And well, we usually when we haven't seen him actually for a long time, but when we used to go out with him, we went to parties, we met in pubs, we went around to his house, where he was renting, and spent some time with him and his other friends and his flatmate. And yeah, hopefully we will see him again soon because he's a great guy. Okay, guys, how did you do? So the first question, who is he? So our friend is Pedro. Okay, and how did you meet? We met him in a Spanish tapas bar. Why did you get on well? I said that he's very open-minded. He's a good person. He's very friendly. What do you usually do together? Well, we used to go to pubs, to parties. We went around to his house, met his housemate and his other friends. Okay. Okay, students, it's time to look at some language that I used in my talk. Did you notice I used 2 reported questions? Okay, let's see what they are. So we sometimes report questions people have asked us. Okay, to report a WH question, okay, so a what, or where, a when, a how question, we use ask plus the object, right? For example, I asked him, or I asked her, or they asked us, right? Plus the question word. Okay, so what, where, when, how. Okay, to report yes or no questions, we use ask plus the object plus if. Okay, then, right, in both cases, use the statement word order and omit do, does, or did. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. So, two questions that I reported in my talk. The first one. Okay, so this is reported questions, right? Now, the direct question was, at the time, so back in 2011, where are you from, Pedro? Right? That's the direct question, okay? The reported question, so what I said to you in my talk was, I asked him, right? So we've got ask, I asked him, the object, right? And then the question word, where he was from. Okay, so then this part, it uses the statement word order. So subject he, verb was. Right, that's different from the direct question. If you notice that in the direct question, you invert that word order, right? So it's where are you from? Right, so it's first the verb, then the subject in the question, in the direct question. But in the reported question, it's first the subject, then the verb, right? Because that's the statement word order, right? Usually in English, in statements, usually we start with the subject and then the verb, okay? The other example, direct speech, okay, direct question. Do you guys want to go to a party at my place? Okay, so this is what he said to us directly in 2011. But when I reported it to you in my talk, I said, he asked us, right, if, okay, so we got yes, no question. He asked us, the object, if, right? And then we've got, again, the statement word order. And we're going to omit the do, does, or did. In this case, the do. So we omit this. We leave it out, right? So it's if we wanted, right? So it's statement word order. We, subject, wanted. And there's no do. So we take this out. So if we wanted to go to a party at his place, okay? Okay, students, let's practice that. So can you write the reported questions for the direct questions? Example, direct question. Where did you learn Spanish, Pete? Okay, so reported question, he asked me, right? So the object, that's me, right? Pete, so that's me. And then the question word, where. Okay, then you need to remember to keep the statement word order. So first subject, I, right? So you changes to I. Then the verb, had, right? So, sorry, had learnt, right? So here the past simple, did you learn, changes 1/10 back to the past perfect. So it's where I had learnt Spanish. Okay, and a second example, did you study in Spain? Direct question. It's a yes or no question. Okay, so so we have reported question. He asked me again, right? So the you again changes to me. This time it's if because it's a yes no question. Again it's I, right? You changes to I. Okay, again it's past simple. Did you study changes to past perfect, and we take out the auxiliary did. and we keep the statement word order. So first subject, I, then past perfect, had studied in Spain. Okay, so there's quite a few things you have to change, right? Um, if that's difficult for you, then I suggest that you watch the video that I did on reported speech. Maybe watch that video first and then come back to this one. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to do this exercise 1 to 4, right? And remember to change the pronoun, right? So, for example, in the number 1, the you changes to us, right? Because it's you two. How long have you two been married? So it's he asked us, right? Okay, so also remember to change the tense. Take the tense one back. So here you're going to have to change have been to, again, to past perfect. Okay, like we did with had studied and had learnt, right? Another change, be careful with the question number 2. You have to also change here to something, right? Think of the perspective. Were you born here? This question Pedro asked me in 2011 in Salisbury, right? And now I'm reporting this from Chile. It's a different country, right? So you have to change this word too, okay? Okay, so pause the video, take 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll check together, okay? Okay, how did you do? Number 1, how long have you two been married? So it's he asked us, right? Then question word, how long? Okay, then past perfect. So it's and it's also changed the you. We're going to change to we, right? Because it's you two. It's you plural. So how long? We're going to keep the statement word order. So it's we had. Oops. We had been past perfect, right? Married. Okay, number 2. Were you born here? Okay, so he asked me, right? Yes, no question. So if, okay, then change the you to I, right? Okay, so subject, then verb. Okay, this is past simple here, right? So let's change this to past perfect. So if I had been born, okay, and the here changes to there, right? Because as I said, I'm here in Chile, and I'm reporting to you what happened there in Salisbury in the UK. Okay, so he asked me if I had been born there. 3, what do you do in your free time, Pedro? Okay, so again, I asked, okay, now, Pedro, what's the pronoun? Pedro is a man, so I asked him, right? Okay, question word, what? Okay, remember to take out the auxiliary. Okay, so it's and change the pronoun you to he, right? So again, subject, verb, statement, word order. So it's I asked him what he. Now this is the verb here in present, right? So we're going to change it to past simple. So what he did in, change the your, we're talking about Pedro. Okay, so it's his, yeah. So your changes to his, what he did in his free time. Okay. And 4, did you enjoy your weekend, Pedro? Okay, so again, I asked him. That stays the same, right? Because we're talking about Pedro, right? I asked him, yes or no question, so it's if. Okay, then the well, take out the auxiliary, right, and change the subject pronoun you to he, right? If he, and it's past simple, did you enjoy? So we're going to change it to past perfect. So it's if he had enjoyed. Change your to his, right? His weekend. Okay, there we go. Yeah, just a little mistake here. So we should, when we're reporting the questions, right, we should just use periods, right, because it's no longer a direct question, right? Okay. Again, same mistake here, right? There we go. Okay, students, that's it for today. So I hope that was useful for you. Yeah, so practice using reported questions when you have that type of task speaking part two question. Typically, describe a friend, talk about someone you admire, talk about I don't know, when talk about your first date, right? So typically, or talk about your favorite teacher. So typically, any of these part two speaking questions, when you talk about someone else, right, gives you the opportunity to report conversations. Okay, so you can include reported speech, which includes reported questions, right, and reported commands. Also, watch that video if you haven't. Reported commands and requests. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so remember you can download my free ebook for 12 tips for scoring higher on IELTS writing task 2 in the description. That's where the link is. Okay. And also, I'm going to leave in the description a link to if you're interested in a trial lesson. Okay, so also the link is down there in the description. Okay, and if you enjoyed this video, then remember to share it. And I'm looking forward to the next video. Okay, so see you again soon.